Tonight,
Hey there, YouTube. SkepticalRoot. Got some new lighting. It's a lot more lighting. Actually got a couple of LED light strips. Look, I can change colors. Whee! Look at the blue. Look at my eyes. Sexy, huh? Anyway, yeah, it's got a remote and everything. I have above my desk here, I have a mirror. One of those, usually it's like a mirror you hang on the back of a bedroom door or something like that. And I have it vertical because there's no windows or light, direct light in this part of the basement I'm in. Over here, I have a couple of windows that face out to the front yard. But I keep the blinds closed, and they're blackout blinds. I keep them closed all the time. But I wanted some more light in here, so I got these LED light strips. I was trying to find a way to add more light to here, and I've got a lamp here and a lamp here with CFL. Yeah, they're both CFLs. But it just wasn't quite bright enough. I didn't like the amount of light I had. So I put these LED light strips up, and now they're color change, and they can do all kinds of stuff. Ooh, they're flashing. It's probably too fast for the... Ooh, they cycle colors. Well, my very brief toy here. It's got a remote that controls them. They're just up here. Nice, you can do a little ambient light. I got another set or two because over here I have a fireplace in the basement. And by basement, I don't know if I've mentioned this before. It's not really a basement. The desk that I'm sitting at is probably below ground. But if we were to cut my house off at ground level, you'd probably cut me off around here somewhere. You know, it's not a basement. It's the bottom floor of the house. It is partially below grade, but it is not entirely below grade. So, but I put the mirror up here as kind of like a window kind of thing. I was going to do some things on it and make it look more like a window. Never got around to it. But putting the LED strips on there does bounce more light back into the room, which is good. And I'm going to do a row of lights on top of and below the mantle in there. Because the basement has two can lights built into the ceiling. They don't give a lot of light down here. They make the place look like a basement. And they really need a little more light. I mean, they're enough light to see. If you were going to quietly read a book or something like that, they'd be fine, or watch TV. But if you were going to have people sitting around talking or something like that, it's a little low. It's a mellow place, and I kind of like that, but I want to be able to have the ability to add a little more light to it. And instead of replacing the cans of fluorescence, I decided to try some accent lighting with some LEDs. A whole big ramble about LED lights has nothing to do with this video. So thanks for watching. At least this far. I don't really have a topic today. I just felt like making something and putting it out there. I've seen a couple of videos from Steve Shives lately that I don't want to make this the Steve Shives response video channel. I will go back to Steve again. But I think my next response video is actually going to be a response video to Christy Winters, Dr. Christy Winters. You may have seen her in my response videos to the, what was it? It was the questions for anti-SJWs video. She kind of produced that and was the first person I believe you saw in the video. No, she wasn't the first person, but she was in the video. She did a video response to calling out Bering in his channel. Bering does not need anybody to defend him. He's perfectly capable of doing it. But as I sat there and watched her video and the things that she was saying about it, I only got a couple minutes into it, and I was like, oh boy. So I'll after a couple minutes into it, I stopped it. I saved it for later. I'll have to watch it and sit through and figure out how I want to properly address it, because it's a video with where she puts something on the screen, makes a claim, and then shows what she considers examples of the claim that she's making, interspersed with some conversations with, that Bering was had, some things that he said. It started off with just titles, video titles, and things like that. It needs a response, but I'm so tired of I'm so tired of this point of criticizing the left, and that is one silver lining, I suppose, to the election of Donald Trump to president. We can get out of our comfort zone, and we can stop arguing about what I would consider the silly things on the left, and go back to uniting behind a common goal and fighting for liberal ideals and democratic concepts against authoritarians on the right. Different, of course, than authoritarians on the left, but when the authoritarians on the right have more power or are more vocal, then the authoritarians on the left tend to shut up, or nobody cares about them as much, because what they argue for is not as important as stopping the authoritarian conservative right movement. Now, I will separate that from the libertarian or liberal conservatives. Now, not liberal conservatives. Yeah, liberal conservatives. Liberal right-wing who are just fine most of the time. There are some exceptions. Computing Forever is a channel that I've subscribed to, and I enjoyed some of his tech reviews, even though I don't agree with him all the time on his takes on things. But man, sometimes he breaks a video. He made one the other day, yesterday I want to say, that I was like, man, where's the tinfoil hat? That there's this big conspiracy behind Jill Stein wanting to do recounts in the Trump election, and now Trump's, it's too late for Trump to do his own recounts in the states where he was. Trump had every opportunity to do it if he wanted to. It's not like Jill Stein decided yesterday that she was going to do, wanted to fund a recount. She was funding recounts in certain states or whatever. Hillary Clinton has decided that she's behind it. I think she should have been behind doing recounts in every state that was close, whether it went for her or against her. Well, no. If it was smart politics, because her campaign certainly has enough money, and this still counts as, could probably pull this out of campaign coffers for money for recounts. She's got enough, even if it isn't, or could certainly get donations to cover the cost of recounts in these states. Everywhere where she lost to Trump by a narrow margin, like Michigan and Pennsylvania, and Florida wasn't quite so close, but pop for recounts. Trump himself is saying that, voter fraud. Well, then investigate the voter fraud by doing recounts. I mean, that's the people that were upset with the people complaining that Trump wouldn't accept the election, accept the results of the election. The same people now who are complaining that Jill Stein and Hillary Clinton want to do a recount. And if it's about the system working, then let the system work. And recounts are part of the system. Being able to do recounts, request recounts, that's part of the system. If you don't like the system, then fix it. But don't complain about it now. That's as dumb as complaining that, Trump won the electoral vote, but he didn't win the popular vote, so we should just get rid of the electoral college because the popular vote should win. Okay, well, now is not the time to do that. Now is the time to start the process to change that. But if you wanted that to affect the selection, you needed to have done it already. So that's it. I'm if you've stuck through the 10 minutes ramble that I've done here, thank you very much. If not, I got stuff coming up. Maybe get some more views than this does. Maybe not. I'm looking at some thumbnails of some of my previous videos. Man, I wish I could figure out how I did that lighting, because sometimes it looks pretty good. We'll see how this looks. I don't know once I get it posted to YouTube how we'll change the tones or whatever, but that's fine. So that's it. Goodbye and hello, as always.
If it doesn't,